All right, good night, everybody. How's everybody doing? If you guys can hear me clearly and you can see the screen clearly, put two ones for me in the chat box, please. All right, great, excellent, excellent. All right, so welcome to each and every one of you to tonight's Thursday trading class. All right, on a Thursday we have two classes for the week. We have Wall Street Wednesday. We have our Thursday night sessions, which is tonight. On a Wednesday, we focus on basically live trade setups across all Forex pairs. And on a Thursday night, we focus on utilization of the Harmonic scanner. All right, one of IML's tools and services that you get with your Platinum Basic package. So what essentially I do tonight is that I show you guys a very simplistic strategy of how you could start utilizing this as a new customer. All right, for those of you who know me, I keep things very simple. So I'm gonna make this 100% easy for you tonight. If you are new, if this tool, if looking at it frightens you, have no fear. I'm gonna dissect it. That's what things are about. Basically, just breaking it down into bits and pieces that is easily understandable to you. All right, if you are brand new, if it's your first time, I always tell you guys, ask as much questions that you'd like. All right, don't be ashamed to ask anything. Doesn't matter how simple, how complicated. Once I know the answer, I will give it to you. If I don't see your question in the chat box, feel free to repost it as many times as you'd like. That's no problem at all. And don't worry about what someone else knows. At one point in time, they did not know anything. All right, so with that being said, if you have a team under your leadership, send those last minute messages out. Let them know class is in session, especially if you had new customers joining your organization. They need to be on this class tonight. So let's get them on. With that being said, if everybody is ready to go, put a 5 for me in the chat box and we're going to get started. All right, excellent. All right, so guys, for those of you who don't know, how do you get to the Harmonic scanner? www.imlharmonicscanner.com. Once you have an active package, you simply log in with your username and the password, and you will essentially see what I'm seeing here right now. And what the Harmonic scanner does for you is that it gives you specific pairs where a harmonic construction was derived, and it basically gives you a trade setup. Now, what is a harmonic pattern? To keep it simple for you, it's basically a reversal pattern. All right, it's a reversal pattern that the scanner is able to detect, and at its point of completion, you're essentially looking for the market to start going in the opposite direction from where it was initially going. Now, because the harmonic scanner is a reversal tool, whatever trade opportunity the scanner gives you, the market is going to be going in the opposite direction. So in this particular case here, the scanner gave you a buy on Euro NZD. How do you know it's a buy? Well, the take profit is above the entry and the stop loss is below the entry. The stop loss is the unfavorable direction, which means we don't want the market to go down, because down speaks to sell. So if we don't want the market to sell, we obviously want the market to buy. It's either one of the two. Take profit above entry, which means the favorable direction is up. Upward movements in the market speaks to buying opportunities. Or if you are new, here's the simple algorithm I derived for you guys to make it understandable. TES, test. If you get tests, that is a buy opportunity on the scanner. So for those of you who don't know how to identify buy or sells off the scanner, TES gives you a buy. So I want a smart person to tell me, what would a sell be? What would the acronym for a sell be? If TES gives you buy, TES meaning take profit, entry price, stop loss gives you a buy, what would a sell be? I want somebody put it in the chat box for me. What would be the acronym for a sell? Very good. SET, set. And here we have an example. Alright, stop loss above the entry price, which means the unfavorable direction in this case is up. Take profit below the entry price, which means the favorable direction is down, and downward movement speaks to sells. So, that is how simple you can identify whether the scanner is giving you a buying opportunity or it is giving you a selling opportunity by simply looking at the parameters at your right hand side. Let me teach you a simplistic way. If the D point is to the bottom, it's a buy. If the D point is to the top, it's a sell. Somebody write that for me in the chat box. If the D point is to the bottom, it's a buy. If the D point is to the top, it's a sell. Is that making sense to you? Alright, let me put it there for you. Alright, so that's a small note you can take care of. If the D point Alright, D point at top equals sell. Put a 1 for me if that's making sense to you. If you see the D point at the bottom, it's a buy. If you see the D point at the top, it's a sell. Is everybody following thus far? If you're with me thus far, put a 1 for me in the chat box. I'm not leaving anybody behind. This is a beginner's class, so I'll go as slow as possible. Does everybody understand how to identify a buy or sell off the scanner now? That's the first thing you need to understand. Don't worry about the harmonic pattern. We'll take our time and I'll show you how they come up with this. As of now, IML is a situation where you learn and earn potentially at the same time. So let's just take the things that we need. You just need to know the opportunity as of right now. Buy or sell. Start making sense to anybody, to everybody. Alright, so that's how you identify buys, and that is how you identify sells with the scanner. Now, because the scanner tells you to buy, it doesn't mean you're just going to take your MetaTrader 4 and instant execute a buy based on the pair that you're seeing. You want to actually confirm. Now, guys, don't go rush to jump in any trade. I know this is highly attractive here. Some of you may already have been in from earlier. Alright, if you are not, just let's assess it together. Alright, so I'm going to teach you guys how you plan some simple analysis on the pair that the scanner gives you to basically confirm if the trade is feasible or not. Alright, so after we have identified buy or sells, I want you guys to look to the bottom here by this fancy line chart that you see. And I'm going to show you how you can utilize this in conjunction with the scanner. Now, I set this up a particular way. So for those of you who don't know, follow with me. Here's what we do. The first thing is I'm just going to go to settings. And I like to see my plot black, deep black, neutral. And this is called the RSI. The RSI comes with two limits. It comes with an upper limit and it comes with a lower limit. The upper limit is set by default at 70 and the lower limit is set by default at 30. Now what I want to do is I want to take the upper limit and I want to paint it red and I thicken by 1. And I go to the lower limit and I paint it blue and I thicken by 1. So now you can see it a little better. Alright? What I also do is that I come here and I go horizontal line. Make it red as well. Jagged or broken. And I put another line to the top. Second level thickness. And I put that parameter to 80. And I essentially get this here. I also drop a line at the bottom. Change it to blue. And I set that parameter to 20. So now I essentially have this effect that you're seeing right here. And all I do now is that I come here and I take a rectangular box and I zone in between my two areas. I put my upper zone red and I zone lower as well. And I put my lower zone blue. Now let's use some discretion and think, what would this tell us? Well, in utilizing the scanner, if I see the lines go into the upper zone, the red zone, I'm considering sells. If I see the line come into the blue zone, I'm considering buys. What does that mean? When utilizing the RSI, when price makes its way anywhere in between the 70 to the 80 mark, it's considered an oversold market. You're looking for a potential reversal to the downside or even a pullback to the downside. When price makes its way into the blue zone, that's the 30 to the 20 to the 30 area in the RSI, it's considered an oversold market. So you're looking for a potential reversal to the upside or a possible pullback to the upside. It doesn't mean it's going to give you a complete reversal. Sometimes it's just an indication of a pullback for a continuation of trend. So we're using the RSI as a mini confirmation. You don't use the RSI naked to say the minute it reaches here you sell or the minute you reaches here it buys, alright? Yes, I know you might get through with that from time to time, but you use it as a confirmation. So let's look at it. When price came into the upper area here, what happened here? Price reversed, started to sell off. When price came into the lower area here, what happened? A pullback. All you got was a slight pullback. Drop, but then you got the move to the upside. No problem. What happened when price reached here? Continued to drop just for a little bit longer. And then you got your move to the upside. Alright, so is everybody getting the idea of how useful the RSI can be from time to time when considering a trade setup? If that's making sense to you, put a 2 for me in the chat box. The reason that I just zone it is so that it's easier on your eyes and you could easily identify where we are based on just looking at the harmonic scanner and correlating it with what the RSI is telling you. So now you know once price makes it into your upper, we're looking for sells. When price makes it into the lower, we're looking for buys when using the scanner. So all we're doing here right now is we're just setting up our tools. Is that making sense to you guys? We're just setting up our tools right now. And now I'm going to show you how you utilize it. So, we want to buy Euro NZD. Where do we need to see the RSI? To the upper zone or the lower zone? Put it in the chat box for me. We want to buy. So do we need to see it at the red zone or the blue zone? Or upper or lower? Let me know. Upper or lower? Blue zone. Very good. You want to see it to the lower portion, which is the blue zone. Good. Did price come into the blue zone? Yes. So the minute price reaches into the blue zone, we are looking for buys. But the minute that it touches the blue zone, it doesn't mean that we automatically pull the trigger. Here is what you have to see now. Because, look, it came into the blue zone from here. But did it reverse and go up? No, it continued dropping. So what do you need to wait to see on the RSI to really get that confirmation? You want to look for something called divergence. And if you don't know what divergence is, I don't know what happened to the chat there. Are we back? Test. Test. Okay, good. Put a 1 for me if you guys are still seeing the stream and hearing. Okay, great. Excellent. All right, so if you don't know what divergence is, I want you guys to come to this recording here where it says regular and hidden bullish and bearish divergence. And I want you guys to look at that recording in detail. All right, I cover divergence with you guys in detail on that recording, but I will give you a recap here. But if you're new with divergence, I place that recording there for you guys so you can educate yourselves, okay? So, what is divergence? Divergence is basically when you get the market going in one direction and your indicator or oscillator is going in another direction. So in this particular case here, when a RSI came into the zone, you want to wait to see the market divergent, meaning the market is going in one direction. So in this case here, the market was still coming down, but your RSI started to what? Pull up. Whatever direction you want to take the market in on a regular standpoint of divergence, you want to see the indicator traveling in that particular direction while the market is going in the opposite direction. So what does divergence indicate to you? It indicates the potential loss of momentum in the market, again, possible reversal or possible pullback. So tell me, do we have an instance of divergence here? Again, what is divergence? Opposite angular movements. Opposite angular movements, meaning market going one direction, indicator going the opposite direction. Anytime you have the same direction, there's no divergence. So tell me, is there an instance of divergence here? Yes or no? So before you take the RSI's word to say, you know what, blue zone buy, you want to see the market diverging. You want to see the indicator pulling in the opposite direction than what the market is doing. That is the true use, in my opinion, of the RSI. Not just to say it's in the blue zone or it's in the red zone, buy or sell. You wanna wait till there's an instance of divergence of the RSI in order to even consider the trade setup. So is there an instance of divergence? The answer is yes. Because why? The market is moving in one direction. Your indicator is moving in the opposite direction. I'm keeping it very simple for you guys. Alright, so yes, there is an instance of divergence. Let's do a previous example. Look at this here. Market came down. Indicator was moving up. What happened? The market pulled back and started to go up. At this point here, when it came into the blue zone, it still wasn't ready. Look, right here, it came into the blue zone, but it still wasn't ready. When did it get ready? When the instance of divergence occurred, then this reversal came. But even when it made it into the blue zone, that's why you don't just buy or sell the minute price comes into the blue or red zone. You want to wait for the instance of divergence and before you take the trade setup. Is everybody getting the idea here? Great, excellent. Alright, so we have an instance of divergence. Yes. Now what? Well, now comes my favorite part. And I never take a trade setup without doing what I like to do and what I believe that I'm good at when it comes to trading is identifying structure in the market. So now what I do, if this is telling me to buy, one, price needs to either be at support or have just broken through resistance and is now retesting as a newfound area of support. So with that being said, I look left to get right. If I need to buy, I need to see price at support. So I look to my previous lows and I see that we have an area of support right here. We have an area of support right here. How do I know that's an area of support? Because in the past, price was rejected to the upside. So I know that this area is valid. But price is not at this area at the moment. So do I buy? My next potential move will be to identify the closest area of structure to where price is, and that is this area right here. So with that being said, seeing that price is still presently under this area, what I need to see happen is a break of structure, a retest, and then once I get that, then and only then I take my buy opportunity. That is how simplistic I use the scanner. I let the scanner identify for me a completed harmonic, or I wait for the harmonic to be completed. I determine utilizing my RSI if there's an instance of divergence. Yes, okay, we proceed. And then I identify my structure points based on where current price is, or the nearest structure points based on where price is, and I either wait for a break and a retest or a rejection. So meaning if price was down here and I actually got this strong candle closing to the upside here, I would have entered for a buy and used the same stop loss, or probably just a bit low. I would have measured it myself. If this is making sense to you, put a 1 for me in the chat box. So you are not to buy this at the moment. You need to wait for the market to make its move, penetrate this area, return to the area which gives you the retest, and then and only then you buy at this particular point here. Is everybody with me so far? And that is as simple as you could keep it with the harmonic scanner. You could do this all day, every day with every single pair. All day, every single pair. Is this making sense to you guys? All day, every single pair. So if you don't know what pairs to look at, or you know sometimes there's so much pairs you don't know what to put your eye on, you come to the scanner, you let the scanner point you in the direction of the pair, and you plant your analysis and you take your trade setups accordingly. Yeah, the retest is for all pairs, break and retest, unless you get a trend line combining with the zone, and you know, if you trade trend line break solely, that's perfectly fine. Is this making sense to everybody? There is even a trend line that is identifiable here. As you can see, the market is in a clear downtrend. So getting a break of this trend would be powerful as well in conjunction with your retest. If you get a nice strong break of the trend line and you wanted to make your decision to enter the minute that you get a clean break, that's perfectly fine as well too. Me, I would wait for a retest. Is everybody with me so far? Yes, you can. You can enter the trade with a convincing candle without a retest in certain instances. What time frame is best? Whatever time frame the harmonic scanner gives you the time frame on. So in this case, it gave you the time frame on the hour, so we work with the hour. Remember, the scanner does the work for you. So you are actually letting the scanner guide you, and you are just putting your analysis on the pair. That's all we're doing. So what do we do here? We identify buy or sell. We pretty up our RSI to look in the manner that we want it to easily identify whether it's in our area and we have an instance of divergence. We put our structure in the market because we're not buying unless price is at support, and we're not selling unless price is at resistance. So we zone, we identify that, look, our nearest support was here, but price is not there at the moment, so we do not buy. So seeing that price is moving up, we look again. So we see ceiling, floor, zone. To buy this, price needs to break past this trend line and close above the zone. And that's the one and only time we would consider buying Euro NZD. Don't be fooled by this impulsive candle here. That's going to make everybody jump in the market because price is still under resistance at the moment. It has not broken resistance as yet in terms of looking left to right. Only if it breaks, then and only then you gear up yourself to buy Euro NZD. Is everybody with me thus far? If this is simplistic for you, put a 1 for me in the chat box and let me know that you're following. So whatever time frame the scanner gives you the trade on, you plant your assessment on that time frame. It's simple. Now guys, anything I trade, regardless of whatever technique, if you guys are on my Wall Street Wednesday classes, it always comes back to structure. It always comes back to structure. It could be what strategy. I never trade unless I get broken zones. So meaning if price is anywhere in the middle here, and there's and 10 people say buy in the middle here, I'm not buying in the middle here. I need to get a break of structure either to the upside or the downside in order for me to have confidence and commit to my trade setup. Is everybody with me so far? And that is how simple you could utilize the harmonic scanner. If there are any questions, feel free to post in the chat box. Is this method simplistic for you? Identify buy or sell. Identify your zones. Look to your RSI. Alright, this is our confirmation checklist right here. Completed harmonic pattern. Relative strength index, buying opportunity 30 or below, selling 70 or above. Divergence. Validate area of entry. Area of entry needs to have been either an area of resistance or support in the past. Whatever time frame the market is assessed on. Well, you can reduce the time frame enter of the convincing closure of the candle favoring your desired direction, which needs to be above your zone if you're buying or below your zone if you're selling. We know this, right? And here I just have a little cheat sheet for you of the time frames that you could break down to based on market assessment. Alright, so is everybody with me thus far? So if nobody has any questions on this portion of class, I've just taught you, you could do this assessment in 5 minutes off the scanner. This is your personal trading assistant. And you could do this across any pair. You could do this across any pair. Let's take GBP NZD, for example. Alright, GBP NZD, the harmonic pattern isn't fully completed as yet, but it's very simple to assess. Alright, it's very simple to assess. What do we see? We have a buying opportunity. I already identified that we have some level of divergence occurring. Alright, what is my previous zone or area? I see that this was an area of support in the past right here that became an area of resistance. So I'm not looking to buy this unless price breaks this trend line. To the upside. And it breaks my zone. Is that making sense to everybody? And that was another simplistic analysis on the scanner that took less than a minute. Alright, so guys, once you become versed with it, it really doesn't take time. It took me approximately 30 minutes to teach you the strategy, but it's only going to take you less than a minute to actually apply it once you're familiar with your confirmations. That's all. Is everybody with me so far? So, as I promised, I would do some harmonic construction with you guys. Somewhat a little over the top for a beginner, but nevertheless for those of you that came on for it, I don't want to disappoint. So what I want to do is I want to actually do some work with you on how you actually draw the harmonic pattern, so you can become independent someday and identify them for yourselves. So if everybody is ready for the second portion of class, put a 2 for me in the chat box. If everybody is ready for the second portion of class, put a 2 for me in the chat box. Alright, so here I have a harmonic pattern cheat sheet. And so let's look at the harmonic that we were looking at with Euro NZD. Let's look at Euro NZD. What was Euro NZD? I believe it was a BAT. Yeah. So Euro NZD was a BAT pattern, right? So what is a BAT pattern? What is a BAT pattern? A BAT pattern is measured based on these measurements that you're seeing right here. All right, and we have had a bearish BAT. Why is this a bearish BAT? What does bearish mean? Bearish speaks to selling opportunities. Sorry, we had a bullish BAT. Bullish speaks to buying opportunities. All right, so we had a bullish BAT pattern, which means that these measurements needed to be fulfilled here. These measurements needed to be fulfilled in order to construct this harmonic. Is that making sense? So, this still isn't working. So let me go to trading view. Alright, so how do we identify on this BAT pattern? Well, you have to utilize your Fibonacci retracement tool. What is your Fibonacci retracement tool? You come right here and you go Fib retracement. And this tool has certain percentages here that range from in between 0 to 1. And it identifies the retracement of a swing. Meaning, what is a swing? An impulsive movement in the market. Boom. And what is the retracement of a swing? The measurement of the pullback. So this is a swing, this is a pullback. This is a swing, this is a pullback. This is a swing, this is a pullback. This is a swing, and this here is the potential pullback or possible reversal. Is that making sense to everybody? This is a swing here, this is a pullback. Put a 1 for me if that's making sense to you. Alright, so this entire move here was a swing from swing low to swing high. So this was one complete swing here from low to high. Is everybody with me so far? Alright, so the first thing in identifying the pattern is you have to be able to identify your initial swing from X to A. Alright, the first swing is X to A. So once you identify that, you identify your X point, you identify your A point, and once you identify your X to A, you take your Fib retracement tool and you pull from the bottom all the way to the top if the swing is an upper swing. If it's from low to high, you pull from the low to the high. If it's from high to low, you pull from the high to the low. You always start the pull at the start of the swing. And on that pull, you want to measure the retracement. Now it is telling you from X to A, that retracement needs to be in between 38.2 and the 50%. So now we look. Was our retracement from the swing X to A, that gives us B in between 38.2 and 50. Yes or no? It actually shut dead on the 50%. So that qualifies. This is our X. This is our A. And the retracement gives us B. So right here is where we had B. And B retraced 50% of the completed swing. Dead on the 50. Very good. So what, are we qualified thus far with B? Yes. The answer is yes. We are qualified thus far. So our B point is valid to start this harmonic. Now, how do you identify the C point? The C point is the retracement of A to B. So A to B is now a swing from high to low. So now you pull your fib from swing high to swing low. And the retracement from A to B of A to B gives you C. And that retracement C needs to be in between 38.2 and 88.6. So we look to our market, and was it in between 38.2 and 88.6? Yes, it just broke the 70% slightly. So now what? This point here gives us our C. And how do we get our D leg? The D leg is the retracement of the swing from X to A completed, and that needs to end at the 88.6. So we re-pull our initial move, which was from X to A. Let me delete this secondary fib tool here. Alright, so the Fibonacci move is based on two pulls. First one and second one. And we come back to the first one twice. Did it retrace at the 88.6? Dead on the 88.6. Are you guys seeing it? Now you understand why the scanner gave you this as its entry. You got the move dead on at the 88.6. So this gave you D. What would have been really super was if this 88.6 was at an exact level of structure here. Would have definitely taken this trade with some confidence. But because it was under, we need to wait for it to break. No problem. So now that you have identified your 4 points, your harmonic is easily drawn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dead shot at the 88.6. And that's how the scanner got this harmonic here. Is this making sense to you? That's how the scanner gave that completed harmonic pattern. That's why you see this possible reversal candle here, because price is at the 88.6 Fibonacci level. Put a 1 for me if everybody is with me thus far. So all you do is you use your fib tool and you pull from high to low or low to high, and you measure based on the ratios of the Fibonacci retracement tool, and you are able to draw harmonics. So now you understand how the scanner painted this. The beauty is the scanner does all of this work for you that we just did here. So you don't have this to do. But harmonic patterns they're powerful in identifying reversals in the market, potential reversals. Is everybody with me thus far? Making sense, guys? Simple stuff, right? Of course, for it to become simple, you need to practice. It's simple for me because I practice. It'll become simple for you if you practice as well. Once you can do one, you can do all. Once you can do one pattern, you can do all. Is that making sense to you? So this was a bat pattern. And that's why we use these measurements. For a bearish bat, it would have been the same thing, just you're pulling opposite. For a butterfly, you have your measurements here. For a crab, you have your measurements. For a Gartley, you have your measurements. Once you can do one, you can do all. Making sense, guys? So now you understand a little better how the scanner gets these patterns that it presents to you. It automatically detects them from the Fibonacci retracement tool's pull. So it's programmed to do that work automatically for you. All I did here was just show you how to manually do it. It's like you have an automatic car, the scanner is the automatic. Or you're driving manual, this is the manual work here that we did. Just teaching you how to identify the A, the X to A, the A to B, the B to C, and then the C to the D. That's all we did here. If you are brand new and this went a little over your head, have no fear. That's perfectly fine. You'll get it in time. You don't even need to know how to draw it right now because the scanner does it automatically for you. All you need to do is the analysis that I showed you earlier in the first portion of class. Is everybody with me? Put a 10 for me if you're good thus far. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Alright, great. Excellent. Alright, guys. So, with that being said, this is how simple you could use the harmonic scanner. It's really, really simplistic. It doesn't get easier than this. Alright, identify your trend. Wait for the trend to be broken. The harmonic pattern completed is always the first indication of a confirmation. But you just marry that with further confirmations in order to really have a confident trade setup. So, structure, break of structure, break of trend, divergence, you're good to go. You don't get any of the other, you do not take the trade setup. Is that clear? If you do not get any of the other, you do not take the trade setup. You need all confirmations to come in line with each other before you actually hit buy or sell on your MetaTrader 4. Okay? That's the discipline that you need to have. You need all confirmations to come together before you hit buy or sell on your MetaTrader 4. Yes, that is very correct, Anne-Marie. Because it draws the pattern for you, all you need to do is identify your trend, put your structure, wait for your break or your break and your retest, and all I showed you extra tonight was to just, because it's here on the scanner, I just showed you how to utilize it. The RSI, just wait for your instance of divergence, and it makes for a more powerful trade. But the main thing will always be break or break and retest. Alright, so that's very correct of what you just said there. It is safe to say you could draw your trend line and just wait for your break and your retest. Or a flat break, depending on how you're taking it. Alright guys, so does anybody have any further questions? You see when you see something like this, you get Euro NZD H1 BAT. It's also on the H4 as well. It's also personally I find it to be a little more powerful when you get something like that. When you get 2 time frame harmonics. Alright, it serves to be a little more powerful. So because you get it on the H4 time frame as well. Not guaranteed, but more likely to go in your favor. The higher the confirmation, the higher the time frame, the stronger the confirmation. That's always the case. So obviously, if you get an H4 trend to be broken, then that's obviously stronger than an hour trend being broken. Making sense? You have your same zone. Alright, the zone is also valid on the H4 time frame. So again, you get an H4 trend to be broken. You get an H4 structure to be broken. More powerful, right? So in my experience with the harmonic scanner, when you get 2 time frames giving you the same harmonic, it's more powerful. Is that making sense? I can copy and paste it for you to make it easier for you. Alright? I can copy and paste it to help you out. New live traders, I will put it in the chat box for you. And there you go. Alright, so if everybody is good to go, every single student. New live trader, did you get that? If you got it, just let me know. So I'll know that you got it. You're good there, new live trader? You're most welcome. Alright guys, so if anybody has any questions, don't be ashamed to ask. Alright, this is a beginner's session, so you can ask anything that you like. Alright, other than that, if we are good to go, if we had a good class, put a 1 for me in the chat box. If you guys have any feedback, just leave it to the top section where you see submit feedback. Always appreciated from a corporate standpoint. So you can feel free to give your opinion and feedback on the class. You guys are most welcome. If everybody's good, put a 1 for me in the chat box. We have our Wall Street Wednesday setups. That will play itself out before next week, at least most will. So the next class is on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're already live trading, that is definitely a class you do not want to miss. I give you guys live trade setups across all 20-something Forex pairs. So you definitely don't want to miss that. So on Wednesday, we will recap last night's setups to see what would have played out to potential TP or what would have taken stop loss. And I give you guys the new setups for the next 7 days. Alright guys, so with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming on to tonight's class. Do highly appreciate all of you being here. Have a good weekend. If you guys want to hit me up with any questions, you can feel free to hit me up on social media. Alright, either Facebook or Instagram. Once it is trading related only, nothing else please. So if you want to send me a chart, if you want to send me a harmonic markup, that is perfectly fine. I'll look at it and I'll give you my feedback once I see your message. Alright guys, so other than that, do enjoy the rest of your night. All of you are very welcome, and I will see you guys on next Wednesday. Wednesday is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so Thursdays is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesdays is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so Wednesdays 9 p.m., Thursdays 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys. So I will see you guys on the next session. Do enjoy. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do enjoy the rest of your night. All right. Have a good night.